Good morning. It is December 3rd, 2025, and I'm doing a morning recording. Shouldn't have done that on camera. I am doing this video for two reasons. One is to see if when I ask my phone a question, if it repeats, because I believe that I get judged on some of the things I ask. Judged. Because often when I ask things of a sensitive social nature, it does not repeat the answers. The other is I was fact checking myself about certain conditions of socioeconomic status, and I'm talking slightly veiled so I don't screw up the test, to make sure what I believed to be true and have repeated based on shit I've heard from sources in the past that it's easily verifiable. That's important, right? Truth. It's one of my big deals. So let's open something so I word it exactly how I did. Oh, damn. Let's see. Sorry, dead air. Okay, Google. Is it true that the average household that's in poverty in America has a flat screen TV, high-speed internet, a modern gaming system, and a car in the driveway, and air conditioning?
According to the Heritage Foundation, the typical poor family has at least two color TVs, a VCR, and a DVD player. A third have a widescreen plasma or LCD TV. And the typical poor family with children has a video game system such as Xbox or PlayStation.
So I asked the question slightly differently. It was a long question. And there you go. So let's just do this. Okay, Google. Is it true that the typical family that lives in poverty in America has air conditioning? So sorry, I didn't understand. So let's go AI mode. Yes, it is true that a significant majority of families living in poverty in America have air conditioning, though access is not universal. Some sources indicate that over 75% of poor families have air conditioning, a figure that is higher than the national average of air conditioning in 1970. Look, I grew up pretty nice. I had a car. Our family vacations, once my mom was rolling in her career, were going out west skiing. Our first ski trip was to Vail when I was probably 12. Prior to that, we used to drive to Maine in the summer, and up north in the summer, which actually we still did. But I grew up nicely, and the point is, in the house I grew up in until I was left to go to school, so 18, we did not have air. In 1984, grew up in a pretty nice, I'd say middle class, but solid middle class neighborhood. No air conditioning. Now it's definitely more universal, but that's in the United States. And Europe, you open a window and you put a fan on yourself. And here's another thing. So in the answer that it gave me, it's also, this is from heritage.org. I don't know that, but it's what AI chose to present to me. The typical average poor American has more living space in his or her home than the average, parentheses, non-poor European has. Look, man. Oh, here, this is important too. By its own report, the typical poor family was not hungry and was able to obtain medical care when needed, among those other amenities. So, look, unless you're mentally ill and or drug addicted in the United States, if you don't want to be without shelter, and I'm not going to say homeless because that's a kind of a complicated term, nobody goes without a roof over their head, and nobody goes hungry. Look around America, man. Look at a picture. There's something circled on the internet that showed a picture of a baseball stadium in like 1960 or 70 or maybe even 1950, whatever. And then a picture today. Today, like, most people are fucking fat. And I'm not going to refrain from using words that are what they are. And people, 30, 40, 50 years ago are thin. And it's not because they didn't have access to food. Coca-Colas were regular sugar and they were 10 ounces and people drank them. Anyway, did I lose my point? Oh, yeah, just that in terms of substantiating the non-hungry thing, even though this verifies it, as poverty goes down, and I'm sure the curve probably goes up if you're super crazy fucking poor, which again would suggest something else is going on, because you don't go without SNAP benefits that are pretty generous in this country if you want them. As income goes down, the degree to which you're overweight goes up. So, people who are saying, is there wealth inequity in this country? And that is maybe driving how I got here in the first place. Look, man, Rockefellers, Carnegies, Mellons, Fords, whatever, the Gilded Age, go back to before the United States was around. You had kings, aristocracy. Look at oil sheiks in Saudi Arabia. Look at India. If you really break down India, if you want to talk about a big fucking country, look at China. Look, Xi Jinping, if I said that right. What's his equivalent wealth relative to your average Chinese? If that data exists, I'm sure it's going to show huge wealth inequity. And China's a weird model of like capitalism mixed with socialism mixed with kind of totalitarianism. But like Russia, Stalin is by some people believed to be, because he's not forthcoming with his wealth and it's kind of technically not his, is believed to be the equivalent of a trillionaire. Anyway, where am I going with this? So wealth inequity, it's from a degree with regard to the outliers, sure, because if you're an Elon Musk or you're a Jeff Bezos, take Jeff Bezos. How has he gotten so rich? He's gotten rich on capitalizing on the back of the internet, which didn't exist 30 years ago. It did, but it was not what the proliferation of the internet. So look at women who go on OnlyFans and show, if you're like your classical, swimsuit issue attractive woman and you're willing to go from naked to who the fuck knows what, or you do weird foot stuff, or I've never been on it, but who the fuck knows what. You can make hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars a year. There are people who play games, gamers who are really good. Just put a camera on themselves and talk while they play a game, and you can make millions. And it's not a lot, but millions of dollars just playing a game. And people will watch that. Or write an app. You write an app that people love. Or you do a TikTok video that goes viral. A TikTok video, you can make tens of thousands of dollars overnight. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in weeks. Write an app. You can become a millionaire. With technology, it's so easy to create something that spreads like wildfire, super fucking fast, and you get rich really quickly. So the wealth inequity is also, look, I order groceries online that were brought to my home in 3 hours last night. The point being, times have changed, and nobody puts an asterisk next to wealth inequity to say it's because of. The reason I brought my groceries up is it's because of things we all benefit from, and let's look. So more poverty has been abated in the last, since basically 2000, at a rate that ever in the history of the world, ever. Now the bar is pretty low. I'll grant that. But, in terms of people who aren't hungry, people who are getting water, those sorts of things, I mean, we're making tremendous strides, which parlays into a conversation, and I'll end things here, about dirty power, global warming, CO2, the whole thing. We got to be careful with how we look at that. Anyway, that's where I'll end things. I'm glad that it came up and that it substantiated my argument with a different question with a little bit but the same answer, and that's that. So cool. I hope everybody's having a nice holiday season, and I'll be back when I'm back. Later. Bye. Hey there. Just a quick after the fact edit. When I was talking about wealth inequity, I said Stalin when I meant Putin. So I do like to be accurate in the things I say, and I just wanted to point out that clarification. Just so, one, it's clear, and two, you're like, well, he's a little less of a dumbass than I thought he was when he said it. So there you go. Again, I hope everybody has a nice holiday. That's all. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Later.